Here it is, here it is. From this incredibly explosive opening, I'm sure many of you have already guessed that this episode will feature this Mercedes SL65 AMG sports car model. As for the lead surgeon performing this disassembly, it's still the guy whose skills are all maxed out, but who occasionally puts the logo on crooked model car restoration expert, Restoration Kama Sutra, Su. Looking at the model, let's go over the core specs of the original car. This 2008 Special Edition has a 6-liter twin-turbo V12 engine, a maximum of 670 horsepower, and a peak torque of 1,000 Newton-meters. It has a 5-speed AMG SpeedShift Plus transmission, accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 3.6 seconds, and has a top speed of 320 km per hour. Of course, the torque and top speed are electronically limited. In reality, it can unleash even more power. After completing the disassembly, Su will use a paint stripping gel to strip the paint from the outer shell. The organic solvent in the gel will dissolve the resin and destroy the polymer structure of the paint film, causing the film to soften, bubble, and peel off. After successfully removing the old paint, these closed-off grills clearly don't meet Su's standards, so now he will cut out these marked sections and modify them into a more textured style. Of course, the specific modification steps will be carried out later. After finishing the exterior adjustments, Su will next use this candy acid green topcoat to paint the outer shell. Additionally, we can also clearly see that before spraying the topcoat, Su had already completed the priming and primer sanding steps. It's just that the corresponding footage isn't shown here. After waiting for the paint film to dry completely, you can see the surface isn't smooth and has an orange peel effect, which definitely doesn't meet Su's standards. So next he will use sanding and polishing to restore the film's proper shine. This grainy texture, also known as the orange peel effect, is mainly caused by the solvent evaporating too quickly, combined with the possibility of dry spray occurring during application. As for dry spray, to put it bluntly, it's when the paint mist is already dry or semi-dry before it fully lands on the part's surface. And the causes of dry spray are numerous, such as spraying from too far away, an incorrect angle, high ambient temperature, or too thin a coat. In short, this orange peel effect is largely caused by a less than ideal physical spraying process, and the remedy is relatively simple. Besides repainting, you can also meticulously sand and polish it once, just like Su is doing. In addition to the visually striking green topcoat, for the door frames, window frames, engine area, and the gaps between the various panels on the shell, he will spray a corresponding black topcoat and perform a panel line wash. Oh, right. The front and rear headlights also need to be coated with a silver paint to focus and reflect light. At this point, the work on the outer shell is considered temporarily finished. Next is to handle the interior. According to Article 1 of the International Restoration Convention, the natural first step is to give all these filthy interior parts a thorough cleaning. After the repairs, we discovered that the front left wheel area of the chassis was deformed to some extent, but luckily, the chassis is made of a thermoplastic material, so it can be gently heated with a heat gun to soften it, and then bent back into shape. Next, after spraying a layer of black topcoat on the chassis, we can move on to Su's signature step, which is to create a flocked interior for the floor and other related parts, just like a real car. And we can also see that this time, Su has chosen this shorter fiber. Compared to the longer type used in previous restorations, the shorter fiber will definitely have a more realistic effect, since everything is based on the actual scale, right? A tumor of several dozen centimeters is a big deal for a human, but for a blue whale, it's like getting a pimple. This is the main reason why blue whales and some other large animals don't get cancer. Everything is relative. This time, Sue has also sprayed the front and rear seats with the corresponding color and installed them in their designated positions. Besides the paint, these seats are missing a particularly important accessory, which is the seat belts that will be installed next. As a master model car restorer, Sue has also three-dimensionally printed many accessories. Here, he just needs to find a suitable one, spray paint it directly, and install it in place. The leftmost pedal is not the clutch but the parking brake pedal, also known as the foot brake. In this era of ubiquitous electronic parking brakes, this feature is quite rare. Also, compared to a handbrake, this type of foot brake can free up more storage and operational space. Sue has also finished handling the center console, and after installing it in place, the interior part is considered done. Compared to last time, Sue didn't perform many magical modifications on the interior this time, but all the details were handled very well. Next, Sue prepares a plastic mesh sheet and sprays it with a black top coat. And what is this for? I'm sure everyone can guess. It will be fixed to the front of the car to form a cool-looking grille. Here, the use of an ultraviolet light indicates that the adhesive used for fixing is a light curing glue. Next, he installs the black painted grille logo and the polished headlight lenses. To also have a license plate, the front end of the car is now considered finished. The next thing to handle is the doors, mainly the two door handles, two side mirrors, and the interior door panels. As for these two-door windows and the front and rear windshields, Sue didn't show the corresponding footage here, but based on past experience, he made these himself as well. This engine part doesn't have any major issues either. It just needs a top coat, and it can be installed in place. I have to say, this is the first time we've seen an engine that meets Sue's standards without needing to be redone or modified. And one of the characteristics of this AMG model line is having an exclusive, hand-assembled engine. They implement a one-man, one-engine system, where everything from assembly to tuning is completed independently by a single engineer. And a signature nameplate will also be installed on the engine cover to engrave that engineer's name. At this point, I'm sure some of you are wondering, compared to a highly mechanized assembly line, isn't manual assembly more prone to errors? Actually, although it's called manual assembly, it mainly consists of three aspects: a highly standardized process, semi-automated support, and meticulous human control. High-performance engines like this often have more details, strict tolerances, and fine-tuning stages. They aren't really suitable for highly mechanized assembly lines. Of course, neither is better than the other, but that thing called sentiment always sells at a high price. Finally, after installing the four assembled wheels, this once abandoned Mercedes SL65 AMG two-door hardtop sports car model is now officially restored. Success! Let's follow the camera to review the before and after comparison. And that's it for this restoration video. Thanks for watching. Be sure to follow my next episode. Goodbye, Xiao Dong Da Ka. Goodbye. And once again, I look forward to seeing you all in Max's restoration domain. Goodbye.